Hey, friend, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, we're going to take it back to the old country. Old Country is an Italian Style Pilsner from Transient Artisan Ales in Bridgman, Michigan. When I think of Transient, the first thing I think about is their IPAs, then maybe their Barkley series, and then maybe their lagers and Pilsners. Now, I just got back from vacation where almost everything I drank was exclusively IPAs, so this review for this beer couldn't come at a more opportune time. I'd like to give a shout out to Ziggy's for providing Transient's Old Country Pilsner today. If you're in the Ypsilanti area, Ziggy's is carrying a really great selection of craft beer. You can check out all their selection online at ziggysypsystore.com. So let's get a look at this label. We'll get it into a glass, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers Eric Latowski, Brian Kramer, and David Jeffries for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive patron-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. So let's take a look at the label. Few interesting things about this label. Now we'll start at the top. We see that it is Transient Artisan Ales in conjunction with Goodcity Brewing out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have this old Art Deco kind of style label here in gold. Everything's in gold. It's like a dark matte gray with a gold kind of overlay on it. It says Old Country Dry Hopped Italian Style Pilsner. It says the government warning, and then underneath that it says brewed and packaged by Transient Artisan Ales in Bridgman, Michigan. Now you'll notice two things that I didn't mention, and I'm looking at the bottom of this can. One thing is there is no canned on date. I don't know when this is canned. I think it was early June, and or maybe even mid to late May. And the other thing I didn't mention, even in the intro, was the ABV. I have no idea what the ABV is on this. I'm going to assume it's 99% ABV. No. But yeah, it's not on Untapped, it's not on Transient's website, it's not even on my really throwback go-to, which is Beer Advocate. Sometimes they'll have the ABVs on there. They all just say 0. So I know this isn't a 0 ABV, or at least I don't think it's a 0 ABV beer, but I do not know the ABV. So just to get that out there, just wanted to put that out there and make sure everybody's on the same page. I have no clue what the ABV is on this, so I'm going to assume it's 99. So we're going to go ahead and crack it. We're going to put a nose on the can. It's not 99. All right. So getting a kind of a really slight aroma out of this. Actually not getting much of an aroma. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this, and I'm going to talk about the aroma out of the glass because I'm not getting a whole lot out of the can. So let's go ahead and pour this. It's coming out super clear, just what you would expect from a Pilsner, especially an Italian style Pilsner. We're pouring it into the glass, and yeah, super clear, super, the clarity kind of adds to this bit of a, it makes you feel like there's a bit of a quality to it when it's super clear. Like a Pilsner like this, you expect it to be really clear and super, transparent. So I'm getting about a finger of head, and that's mostly from the way I poured it. I don't think that's anything to do with the beer. There's a lot of larger bubbles on the top, a little bit of a dense layer on there as well. Let's go ahead and hold it up to the light. And again, super clear. It's a bit of a golden yellow, like you would expect, again, from a Pilsner. I can see my fingers through it. There is absolutely no problem seeing through that. There is some carbonation rising up from the bottom. I'm going to take a sip. I'm going to pour a little bit more in after I take that sip, but let's put a better nose on the glass here. Getting a slight sweet aroma, a bit of a hay kind of aroma coming out of here as well. It's really deep down in there. Plus, all the rains just came through before I filmed this, so I'm downstairs. There's a little bit of a background interference on aroma. But this isn't a strong smelling beer as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and try it out. Cheers. So we'll talk about the mouthfeel first. Very crisp, very light, very refreshing, a little bit on the thin side. It's not super heavy. There's not even medium mouthfeel. It's very light, super crushable as like a mower beer. Again, this is like a summer kind of lager, and it definitely has that kind of summer lager flavor and that summer lager kind of mouthfeel. I'm going to pour a little bit more in, and then I'll take another drink, and I'll take another drink, and I'll talk about the taste here. Lots of nice carbonation rising up from that little kind of re-pour, and let's talk about the flavor here. super flavorful. Now, considering I don't know the ABV, I'm going to assume it's probably in the 5 to 6 range. If it's under 5, I'd be kind of surprised just from the flavor that I'm getting out of it. But it has a lot of flavor. It's got a bit of a almost like a I don't want to say, there's like a woodsy kind of quality in there. But let's start from the top and work our way down. So it's got a little bit of this kind of biting bitterness up front. It's got a nice bit of sweetness in there as well. It's hard for me really to put my finger on what all the flavors are because I'm not super well versed in Italian style Pilsner. The last one I think I had was Eastern Market's Primavera Pils. That has a very similar flavor. It has a bit of a dryness on the tail end that kind of sucks up all the moisture that you've just kind of swallowed, and that makes you want to come back and drink a little bit more. It has a bit of a sweetness to it, but it also is wrapped in this bitterness. And I'm totally uneducated in the world of Italian style Pilsners. I just kind of know when you have one, they all kind of have that same kind of, there's like a bit of a spicy note to it, and they all have this kind of same, thorough line that runs through all of them. And they always, to me, when I taste something like this, it screams to me like summer, right? So it makes me think like this is a really good refreshing style beer that you'd want to taste more in the summer. It's not so like flavorless as some of the macro style beers can be, where there's just not a lot of flavor to them. It's almost like they're kind of meant to be drank really fast. Whereas I feel Italian style Pilsners, while I can't really put my finger on the flavors, they always seem to be something that you want to maybe enjoy or kind of relax and enjoy over an extended period of time. Whereas I think of like, if the only Pilsners are like Budweiser or macro style Pilsners and they're just meant to be slammed, something like this is a little bit more something to be enjoyed, a little bit more something to be enjoyed in warm weather. So they're different. It's not so light and flavorless as something like that. There's a lot of flavor in here. I just can't really put my finger on what all those flavors are. It kind of starts out with this little tiny hint of sweetness. There's a little tiny hint of sweetness that pops up, but then there is definitely this hoppy, bitter kind of flavor that comes through. It has a bit of like a biscuity kind of mouthfeel to it as well, but then again, it has a super dry finish, so it dries out, you kind of pulls that moisture out of your mouth, and that's what makes you come back and want to sip a little bit more. This is dry hopped. I don't know exactly what it's dry hopped with because again, there's not a whole lot of information even on Transient's website. I don't think they mention a whole lot about what it says, and I'm actually going to pull that up. I don't generally look at my phone during these reviews because I don't want it to influence what I'm going to say about it, but I want to look it up real quick and read you what it says on their website. All right, so doing the research, I'm looking at my phone here, which again, I don't think I've ever done in one of these videos. I did find out this is 5%. It says, this Pilsner is modeled after the dry hopped Italian Pilsners we love so dearly and could not be happier with how it turned light and crisp, as a Pilsner should, with a touch of magic from our friends at Hophead Farms. So it really doesn't tell anything more about it, but it's definitely got, it's definitely got that kind of hoppy flavor to it. So it's not just a one-note thing. If you were looking for a beer or a lager, a Pilsner, that's not just, it's like just like a macro, but it's not a macro. I feel a little bit better about helping a small brewery. This isn't that beer. This has a little bit more flavor to it. It's got this kind of, like I said, it's just kind of got that sweetness. It's got that little bit of a hoppiness to it. And I don't know what hops it is, so forgive me for that. But then it has that dry kind of mouthfeel, again, that just keeps bringing you back for more. This is a great summer style lager because it's something that you can drink. And it again, that dryness just wipes out all that kind of, it brings back that thirst and you want to keep sipping it. At 5%, what more could you ask? Now that I know it's not 99%, it's 5%. What more could you ask for? You could down a 4-pack of this, no problem, and probably be in pretty good shape. Not really have to worry about it, of course, don't drink and drive and all that great stuff. But if you're enjoying your time and you have enough time to allot for after those 4 beers, 5% beers, this is a really great beer, really great style, but know going into it that you're not getting kind of that light, super light, flavorless kind of macro style lager or Pilsner that you're used to. It's going to have a little bit of a kick to it, a little bit of a bite, but it's also going to be, you're going to feel a lot better about drinking something like this because it has that flavor. If you're not looking for something with flavor, don't get this beer. But if you're looking for a lager or a Pilsner specifically with a lot of flavor, you could do a lot worse than Old Country from Transient Brewing Company. All right, friends, that has been Old Country Italian Style Pilsner from Transient Artisan Ales and Goodcity Brewing. Have you had this beer before? Do you have any other Italian Style Pilsners you think I should try to help me educate myself on the style? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Cheers.